If you know me, and you don't, you would know that I have axolotls and that I love them. So don't watch this one if you love axolotls. Not a good idea. There will be spoilers. The movie that I'm talking about is Dark Web: Descent into Hell. This movie is focused on a YouTuber who appears to really like focusing on dark things. Same. So this YouTuber also dives into creating a series about the dark web. I'm not going to do that. I don't think I want to do that to myself. This guy appears to be quite depressed off screen. So when he's not recording, you can tell that like he's down and out. Just the look in his eyes, he seems very tired and drained and just like, I'm just done. He doesn't leave his house, he drinks, he avoids phone calls from his mother. He also seems to be taking some medication of some kind, so there's something going on, likely mental health wise, which PSA, don't drink alcohol with your psych meds. It's not a good idea. So while I was watching this, it actually goes through some of his videos about the dark web series, and I forgot that I was watching a movie for a second. I was like, oh, okay, I'm watching a YouTube video, because it's set up just like that. And I actually like enjoyed watching them too, so this guy's battling to gain views and get more subscribers, which, you know, aren't we all? But he seems to have a personal grudge against another YouTuber who's doing very well, and his name is Eric Fire. I'm not going to comment on Eric Fire as a character because I don't have anything nice to say. So as he's doing this series on the dark web, that in between you see him interacting with like someone who's like his agent or manager or something, and he starts having some difficulty with his computer because he's venturing into weird internet spaces. His agent ends up hooking him up with this mysterious guy that he doesn't really actually interact with. He just like messages back and forth, and this guy just immediately fixes his computer from whatever was going on with it. And the guy, before he leaves, he wraps up, he's like, anything else? And so our main man asks for more views than Eric Fire. Not entirely sure why he thought that this guy would do that, but okay. So he gets what he wants. He ends up waking up the next day with like millions of views, taking off, and finds out that he has won in a different way, and finds out that Eric Fire has died. That he has supposedly taken his own life by pouring accelerant over himself and lighting himself on fire. So our main man here, like, he seems like he's plagued by something. He's having these like flashback episodes of this girl, just like this girl's face. That's about it. But you can tell it's really bothering him, and honestly the movie does a really good job of just kind of like throwing those flashes of memory in there. He really doesn't want to think about that, and so you're sitting there thinking like, what happened to this girl? He ends up getting sent a link to a red room, and just in case you don't know, I'm sure that they exist. I'm not saying that they haven't or don't, but I think that because of how alarming and scary they sound, we've turned them into another one of those internet ghost stories that's like much bigger than it may actually be. I could be wrong. Tell me if I am. But a red room is a live stream basically of someone being murdered and tortured. So he finds himself in one, and he watches all of this kind of unfold. I don't think he believes that it's like happening. I mean, I probably wouldn't. Scene's real weird. This girl who doesn't speak English is tied to a chair. There's some strange stuff going on. There's this girl in like this skimpy BDSM outfit with a white dog head mask on. I'm not playing when I say it gets a little odd. Then there's this dude that comes out like Mr. Dungeon Masker. Oh my God. Mr. Dungeon Master. There we go. It's kind of theatrical and stuff, but he ends up like, it's implied that he kills the woman. You don't actually see him like doing it. You see like right up to it, and then you see blood spraying on the dog girl. That happens. He freaks out, and just kind of tries to like, oh no, I didn't see that. Well, he ends up looking it up and seeing that the girl in the video was like actually missing, and it's kind of like, oh shit. So some time passes and he ends up in another situation because something is sent to him that sends him immediately to a red room rather than him kind of exploring it. And in that room, same situation, same dungeon guy, same strange dog lady. And he sees another woman tied to the wall and finds out that this woman is his little friend agent person. So he's like, oh no, I know this woman. And so that makes it real. That makes it scary. He's just kind of like, oh, what do I do? There's a voice. I don't know if it's like the dungeon guys or if it's someone in the background that's kind of like taunting him and talking to him about it. And this voice recommends that he eat his little fish, his axolotl. And if he does so, then she will not be harmed. What the heck? So knowing this person and having some value of her life and realizing like this is real serious, he does just that. Swallows the axolotl whole. Oh, I can watch a whole lot of things, and like this, I got past it, but like I felt like this pit in my stomach. So after that, all the computer just shuts down. Everything just kind of shuts off, and we go into this strange kind of dream sequence. So it's actually like a hallucination memory flashback thing, and he's like wandering through this outdoors place. It's kind of a beach environment, and as he's wandering through, Dungeon Guy is just slightly following him in the back, so you're like, oh crap, what's gonna happen? Then you come to a beach where there's a girl sitting there. It's the girl from the flashbacks. And so you see what happens. You see like, okay, this is what happened that created this recurring flashback for him. And you also learn why he is not fond of Eric Fire. He's hanging out with this girl. He's taking pictures for her. She seems like she's like an influencer, YouTuber or something. And she goes out in the water, and he ends up looking at her phone and sees that she is texting Eric Fire, and not only is texting Eric Fire, but is like talking crap about him specifically. So very hurtful. I get it. Pretty devastating. So he decides that he's just gonna go walk out in the water and drown her. Probably not the best decision. There's like this symbolic like thing, the dungeon guy is like walking around in the water, and there's just all this stuff that honestly I think is well done, especially given that this is a lower budget movie. It's more of a B movie, but I think that they do a good job of painting the story through the symbolism. So the dungeon master guy appears to be at this point a part of our main man. Which makes sense, like that's the part of him that snapped and killed her, whatever. So things kind of wrap up there. One of the final scenes is cops walking into a house. You soon find out that this is our main character's house, and he appears to be dead in his chair. I mean, he seems pretty dead. I don't know. They don't seem too alarmed by it, so I think he's dead. They proceed to go walk around the house and end up discovering some things that were unexpected. They find what appears to be a body that has had a mask put over it, like it's being kept or preserved in some way, like some Psycho vibes. It's his mom. So all the phone calls and things going back and forth with his mom were a memory and or hallucination. It's implied that maybe he left her and she took an overdose or something. Like he just failed to keep her alive, basically. And then she died and he just kind of kept her. I could be wrong. He might have killed her, but from what I remember in looking at it, it seemed like, okay, she was there and she died and he just left her there. These continue, and they find this big blue barrel. And what is in the big blue barrel but the girl that he killed? Well, it's implied. They open the barrel and then it just kind of goes into this like dream sequence of her like floating in the water or whatever. So it's like, yeah, she's in here. As a therapist, before all the murder stuff, I was like, dang, he's depressed. needs to decrease his alcohol consumption, probably take his medication appropriately. Alcohol is a depressant and it can absolutely impact your mental health and well-being overall, just saying. Mix meds with alcohol, that's a big no-no. Then all the murder stuff came up and I was like, oh, well. Turns out it's extreme guilt that has turned into some significant delusions with some like PTSD vibes. And you know, I'm choosing to believe that the Axolotl won in the end. That it got its revenge and with its special Axolotl powers destroyed his insides after forcing him to face the fact that he is a murderer. There was justice. At least that's what I'm choosing to believe, and that is what I'm telling myself. So I think that with this movie, it's an interesting watch. And if you're into kind of psychological B movies with a new modern kind of social media vibe, then, you know, check it out. That's all for today. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you don't mind. And until next time, be kind to yourself and others.